Hi! Ever wondered what goes on behind the scenes of the health innovations we see? Or what health innovations are even out there in the first place? Well, welcome to African Digital Health Voices, your one-stop platform for all things digital health technology across Africa. From interviews with founders to pertinent conversations with stakeholders around tech-enabled healthcare, as well as updates on the latest in health tech, you are in for a good treat. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode.
Welcome to the show, Mayemi Bashiruddin or Bash. Nice to finally get you on.
Yes.
And welcome officially to the African Digital Health Voices podcast. This is basically where we get to get into the minds behind, things in the digital health space, policies, technology, innovation, research. Basically, any stakeholder or enthusiast who is, getting their hands into the digital space and making some moves, kind of. I wouldn't want to say because impact. We throw the word impact around it because I wanted to say making some impact on making some moves in the digital health space and all. Basically, having this conversation because it's really important that we get different perspectives. We learn, we share, we have all of these insights flowing around, which sharpens everyone if you think about it. And then, So welcome. I have a lot that I could be reading from your bio. AI/ML engineer with pharmacy background. I'm still going to ask you I know I did warn you beforehand that this is going to be like a semi-formal, semi-structured conversation.
No, it's fine.
And all that.
Fine.
So I think I'll delve more into that much later. I'm really asking how you transitioned into the space and all that, and all the wonderful work that you do. But let me ask from your own mouth, if nobody was going to remember anything about you or what you do, what is that one thing you don't want them to forget about you in one sentence? That is what you are about.
I think I think can do, right? That person that could do it or that set his mind to something and was able to achieve it. Yeah, I mean my former organization has that as one of their mantras, can do. So, and I mean, it's something I've always lived with, even right from pharmacy school. I mean, if I could do data science while I was still in pharmacy school, I mean, that for me is something I wouldn't want anybody to forget about that. And of course, I know there are people that actually, following that line too. So that makes me happy, right? To be that person that can be like, hey, yeah, I did it. If I can do it, then you too, you can do it. So, yeah.
So basically we can call you the can do guy.
Well, I don't mind.
It's almost giving Nike, just do it, and then there's this guy who can do it.
Just set your mind to it, and I mean you achieve it.
Okay.
I don't want to be all motivational, bro.
Yeah, you already are. So that's actually very interesting. So you mentioned something when you were talking about this guy, in school, you wanted to be known as that guy who could, machine learning, all of those things. So how did you get into digital health? Was it intentional or more accidental? Okay. How did that go?
I mean, well, first off, let me say thank God I met people like you and Vivian, right? Doing OHT, because for me it was not really about I wanted to do digital health or I wanted to do health tech. I just got into data science as coming from a background of I like to create things. I like to do stuff that way, how do I put it now, way not unconventional. So 2020 I got into data science. I was just building stuff, trying to apply my skill. I did hackathons. Even my first major hackathon had nothing to do with healthcare. It was about energy. So it was about energy, right? And that for me was just, at least I just wanted to do stuff. Then, I mean, I started having conversations. Okay, my second hackathon had to do with healthcare. So I think that was what sparked the interest for me. And in that same hackathon, I was still me with Vivian. So when I met Vivian, I was like, you know what? I mean, I don't want the pharmacy background to just go up like that. Let me be able to apply my skill in data science, AI, and also in healthcare. Then I can just unify both sector and just do something great. Then Vivian introduced me to OHC. Then from there, I mean, started doing stuff around healthcare. Even most of the research I get to publish are always around healthcare, pharmacy. How do you use technology to bridge a certain gap you identify in pharmacy? So that kind of thing. Yeah. So from there, so association and community also sparked my interest for healthcare, for health tech and digital health.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. I think it kind of reminds me of mine as well. And I think I would say curiosity really played a role here, because there you were trying to just do your hackathon and then try to find a way it would work, and then you got into OHC and all that. And then for the sake of our listeners, OHC is One Health Tech. Yeah, and it's a global grassroots community for health tech enthusiasts and players in the space, really. And for me as well, I think it was just because it was something that started. It wasn't, as at that time, it wasn't like digital health was a thing, particularly in Nigeria. Yeah, or Africa for that matter. I mean, it was building up. There were different forms of it, but we didn't really recognize it as this thing or this field or something like that. And I think mine was also kind of like an hackathon that was organized as part of our Health Week, annual Health Week, and then getting into the space, just being that curious person. Come join this team. We're going to pitch, and then start working on things together. And then, the more you begin to see, this is actually really nice and interesting. But I think at that point as well, for some of us, at least for me, at that initial stage, it was more of, this is something that you could just be curious and dabble into and play around, but not really see as a career path and all. So I think I'll use that to throw a question back at you, that at what point did you then decide that this is a space I want to stay in?
I don't think, for me, it was not there was this particular point I knew I wanted to maybe be dominant in that space. It was just, I have this set skill. I'm in healthcare. Let's just do both together. Yeah, there were times where I was like, okay, maybe I don't want to go ahead of the conversation that we're going to have eventually, but I was feeling skeptical about the path I wanted to take. A part of me was let me remove the healthcare part, right, and just go fully on the skill I have, and I can work in any other sector. But there's this thing about the 7 years that I had to spend in school, right? Yeah. Just to give more context, just because of ASU strike and COVID, that was what allocated the years in school. So I didn't want those years to be in waste. And so it was more about, where can I offer more value? Yes. Even if I still do things outside healthcare, but I still find my way back to healthcare. So yes, I know I can offer a lot of value in healthcare, but I still do stuff outside healthcare. So it was not like I have this skill also, let's just make it too. It's not like there was this point that I had to just decide that.
Yeah, I think I can remember when I had a conversation with someone some years ago, and then about 1 or 2 years ago, and the person was really like, how did I decide to leave where I was, the background, clinical training, biomedical science, all of those things, and transition, you have mind, you have in Nigeria, I would say you have chest and all of this. Yeah, it's not an eureka moment where you wake up in that sense. And also it depends on how you think about it, really. If you think about it as wanting to go into the digital health space as a concept in itself, or rather I'm in the healthcare space, and I really am passionate about like improving the healthcare space and doing great stuff within that. And then there are different ways to do it, and these are some things like emerging tools, emerging fields, emerging disciplines I could leverage. And I think if you're talking about digital and the IT world, they actually can be applied into any industry. If you're talking fashion, entertainment, agriculture, healthcare. And so what I'm simply doing is I'm still in the healthcare space, so it's not either or. It's basically, it's like research. You use research in every field, and also it's not like I have to leave my core field to like do all of those things. I'm basically leveraging the very beautiful potential of digital space, digital innovation in healthcare and all of that. And while you were answering that question, I noticed you kept talking a lot about I have the skills, I have this and that and all. So I think I'll just jump ahead as well, like you have done, and like just segue into that. Like if another young person says wants to get into the digital health space, or more aptly put, want to leverage digital innovation for the healthcare space, what set of skills do you think they really need? I know the digital health space is wild now and all.
It's wild.
Yeah, but at least some skills that everyone should have, regardless of maybe your specialty in the digital health space.
So, I mean, it's no brainer, right? And which is what I like to talk about. If you're going to have this tech skill and you want to apply it to healthcare, it's always good to have that data skill, be it as a data engineer, data analytics, data analysis, data sciences. Why? Because in healthcare, you deal with a lot of data. Maybe PI data, that's personal information data, data that has to do with medication, data coming from the EMRs, data coming just from other sources. And with those data, you want to bring insights from them, and you want to use those data to make recommendations. So it's no brainer that every healthcare professional should strive to have a data skill. Yes, it's something I always preach about. Then maybe if you now want to do the whole AI, you want to do AI, you want to do software engineering, you want to do web development, fine, of course. You can also apply those things to to bring more impact to whatever you are doing. But yes, it's no brainer. Every healthcare professional should have a data skill, even if it's as simple as being able to analyze data with Excel or with SPSS. You just have to have that data skill, because the more you are interfacing with patients, it's more of data itself, be it structured or unstructured. So, and at the end of the day, you want to be able to refer to something to like draw insight from that. Oh, what can I do better? Or who are the people that I need to reach out to? Or how can I reach out to them? You can't do all that. You can't answer all those questions without having data, or without having the skill to even analyze those data. So it's no brainer. All healthcare professionals should actually involve themselves in having a data skill. That would really go a long way.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. That makes a lot of sense. Even if we are not talking about healthcare specifically, or even if we were going to come back to that, it's basically evidence, right? Evidence for, even if you are like an innovator, you are not even a professional who is using the tools, you are the ones building it and all. You need to be able to make a case for whatever it is that you are doing. So data really, really helps, and even in being able to work with it, because I think there's one common thing they always say about how there was always this argument of, Nigeria or Africa has data or does not have data, that's why a lot of our things are not out there. And then the other argument is, there's data, but it's all siloed. It's people don't know how to work with it.
That's going to be my own argument. There is data, but it's in silo.
Yeah, and
most of the data are unstructured. So people don't really know how to work with unstructured data. And I think that was, for me, that was my own big strength, right? How to be able to work with unstructured data, how to work with healthcare data, how to get healthcare data even from social media. Yes, exactly. I think that was one thing I learned from my former organization, right? Just how to work with unstructured data to use it to prepare insights. So it doesn't have to be in your usual rows and columns. You will get data. Data is everywhere. Although I hope we get to a place where, especially for where data are in silos, we get to a place where we tend to unify all this, all this data, and we translate them, right? It doesn't have to be just maybe just healthcare data, maybe data from finance, from transport, from other sectors, and we translate them to healthcare, and we use it to provide recommendation, or maybe in terms of, let's say, where I want to site my next primary healthcare center, or maybe in terms of vaccination optimization, where maybe there is a pandemic somewhere, where can we site our next best place to situate a vaccination site, right? Just those things, because all those things cannot just rely on healthcare data alone. You have to bring data from other sectors to be able to do such a thing. So
yeah, and very good points you made on that, because I mean there's public health system space and all of those things as well now, and it's really beautiful to see things from that perspective as well, because there's also this concept of health in all. I think it kind of like layers with the One Health approach and all that, where when people think about healthcare, people typically think in terms of service delivery, hospitals, this and that, but there's so much of other sectors and other spaces that actually make heavy impacts on the health of people. We're talking about social determinants of health, where people, locations, the food they eat, even digital determinants of health, commercial determinants of health. When you were talking about the social media, being able to get data from there as well, that's part of a digital determinant of health, because then we are able to see how people in the digital space are basically sharing information online, as well as things about them that could hint, particularly, for instance, when the whole suit situation in Port Harcourt was really rising up and people were sharing pictures and videos, people were able to link that to, this is air pollution, which is going to cause a lot of respiratory issues and all that. I'm sure the first few people who were sharing those pictures and videos were not thinking of health or digital health in that sense. They were just sharing,
exactly. They were just
this is what is going on around me and all of that. And even the pandemic, the old pandemic preparedness. I mean, there's also a whole field of digital epidemiology. That reminds me of something I'd done 2024 into 2025, the African Digital Epidemiology Innovation Network. And part of it was also web scrolling, being able to get information from social media in real time, because traditional epidemiology methods, sometimes you lose a lot of time.
You rely on getting data from primary healthcare centers and all those.
So even in contact tracing, imagine a patient zero are documented, we outside picture, so you can be able to know, okay, they were in Lagos today and then they traveled to Abuja for a party and now they are in Benin and all that, and you can easily trace them, and then all the people they might have possibly encountered just from the stuff they shared on their digital platforms and all that. So even in research, epidemiology, digital health really, and working with data really permeates all of that. But then the product manager in me is going to ask you a question that layers on that, which means, is there a random skill outside of technical stuff like data management or analysis or anything, or health skill or anything, but that skill surprisingly makes you better at your job?
Communication. Yes, communication. Okay. Communication is no brainer, because at the end of the day, you have to be able to communicate things. It's, how do I put it now? Okay, in terms of numbers, there's this particular illustration I always used to use. How, I can say, I had, let's say, in terms of 100%, I had 8% error rates in whatever I was doing. This is me speaking hypothetical. People might say, that means your system is not doing well, because you stay at 8%, or you had 8% error rate. But if I speak in terms of, I had 92%, error rates. You get my point, right? People would be fixated on, oh, you had 92. Okay, that's nice. That's because like you had 92% success rate, not even error rate. Like people would be fixated on, oh, the number is large. So all those things like really, really like helps to communicate whatever insight you're trying to drive to, or whatever recommendation you're trying to bring. How to communicate numbers, how to communicate data is something that is very, very essential. Presentation still fits to communication. I think another skill that I would say is very necessary is, let's say networking, to be honest. Like having to meet people, having to walk to people, build connections, because at the end of the day, is that connection you build right now that's what probably help you in future, if not in the present now. So yeah, I'm big on those two skills, communication and networking. Yeah.
That's very, very beautiful. The way you described the 92%. It's really about the power of reframing.
Yeah.
And getting people to focus on, certain things and that's actually very beautiful, because one way or the other, even say you're an innovator or you're a policy maker and you're trying to maybe do a digital health something or digital policy and all that, it's really how the audience are able to like interpret it in a way that, oh, does this serve my interest and all. So the way you present or communicate it to them, it's really, really matters. And of course, when you're doing your performance appraisals as well, and you're saying 92%, this and that, and all, that's actually really, and of course networking, because I remember something I can't remember his surname right now. I think Oluwaseun Adepoju or something. I was at an event many years ago and he was talking about if you are doing something great and nobody knows about it, it's basically like, I'm paraphrasing here, but he says it's basically like winking in the dark. And so networking is really key, because then people get to know about what you're doing or what you're interested in doing, and good chances are, which also ties to even the skills development and even the career development and advancement, which we are going to talk about in a few minutes, but really being able to let them know, this is what I'm interested in, this is what I'm doing, or this is what I'm not. And then when they come across an opportunity that might be relevant to you, they remember you because you've networked. And also speaking more to also collaboration, you meet people, they are doing on stuff as well, and you could actually find points of like bringing the strengths together to like make whatever you guys are doing separately much better in a more coalesced manner and all that. So really, really good insights you've shared there. But I'm always wondering, and you have to share your own experience regarding this, as regards when it comes to networking, especially for young people, and not just networking, but like really being given a voice to contribute to the space and also lead youth engagements. Like I see a lot of conferences, programs, workshops where they invite young people or young representatives and all of those things in there. But when it comes to the decision making panels or the policy maker meetings, or like the big company, even down to like a minimal, like a single company and all of those things, it's always difficult to like really say, oh, we are there yet with youth engagements and all that. So from your own experience and maybe other things you've seen around, do you feel like young people are genuinely being helped and involved in like digital health, or is it just for like optics, just to say young people?
Maybe I don't want to look as if I'm speaking from a place of privilege, but I feel from my own experience, I think maybe because of the works I've done. Times where, especially for people that are very familiar with things I've done around, AI for healthcare, or maybe in terms of, digital health, I at least I still get that audience, right? I still get people to listen to me. And because it's in the word digital itself. Let's say the older generations are not really that familiar with it. But to be honest, yeah, true. In terms of policy, right? You'll be so surprised that it's still the senior colleagues in quotes that are leading the like say the conversations in these things, and they want to look at it. They want to come up with the old excuse of yeah, we have the experience and all, but they don't really understand the word digital, or they've not really played around it. I'm not trying to throw shade, but I mean, I know some other colleagues that are that actually like they are voices in terms of digital health. But I think it's just for me it's more of, I think the more you show, the more you try to work with the senior colleagues, maybe they would see your impact, that they would want to listen to you. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't speaking from a place of privilege. I've had to, maybe because I've had to work with people who are familiar with my work and tend to want to do stuff with me and tend to listen to whatever whatever I have to say about what any kind of digital innovation, especially pertaining to healthcare. So yeah, I think I've been privileged to that extent. In terms of conversations around, let's say, for conferences, I mean, if I have to use, I mean, most of the conferences now, right? You definitely find, especially for digital health, you definitely find youth like participating. So let's say we are doing something great in that regard. But if we have to remove that digital part, trust me, I don't think a youth participation used to come in terms of like the conventional part of healthcare. Because let's say for AMR, for stuff that are like the conventional conversations that we public health, they would not want to regard, they would barely want to regard youth, because they'll be like, oh, we're looking for people with experience, people that they've done stuff, like they have the titles, they have the research. So it's all, so experience used to tend to play a lot in that space. And as youth now are coming up, although I mean we would always have a different perspective, right? So it's not an excuse that the senior colleagues should not listen to us, because of course you cannot say you are innovating for youth and you are not in that space, or you are not in that age bracket. It doesn't even make any sense. So yeah, maybe outside digital health, I think we really need to do more with engaging youth in the typical healthcare conversations, typical public health conversation. But in terms of digital health, I think I can say that yes, I mean, know how the senior colleagues have to involve us. Like they have no choice.
Yeah, know how. I mean, what is it like? I mean, young people are often described as digital natives and all that. So to us, it comes seamlessly and all. But you raised some very key points there, which I would say it's maybe concerning on a larger scale around maybe community participation, stakeholder engagement and all. Like, even because you said something like, you've been privileged to, based on what you do, your work and all of those things. And I think that's a beautiful thing. However, it also tends to exclude people who are not necessarily doing stuff in the space, like actively doing stuff, but one way or the other, they are affected by it. If you understand what I mean. For instance, if I were going to go into a community and bring a public health intervention or any kind of intervention to them, it would make sense that I involve them, whether they were the ones who co-created the whatever in itself or whatever. And that brings back to the co-design, co-creation, co-production, and we're not just coming to you to interview you and say, what are your needs, and then we are going back and cooking something and then we are bringing it back to you, or just seeing you as end users only, but as regards whether or not you were contributing something in that sense. I use the word contributing carefully, right? Because you're just sharing your perspective and how things affect you and how you'd like to have things also is a big contribution. But when I meant in terms of, I don't particularly have a skill of like data management or AI or something like that, or software development or anything, but
by virtue of me being someone who is potentially going to be affected by whatever you are doing, whatever policies you are making, whatever interventions you are doing, whatever implementation and whatever it is, then I deserve to be engaged in that process as well. If you understand what I'm saying.
I understand, but remember that it's at the end of the day, they too are looking for certain individuals to help maybe in quote bridge a particular gap that they don't have covered. It could be, so let's put it in terms of value. If I have a certain value that I can offer them, or they are looking for a certain value that they need to, help their work, of course they will reach out to the person that has the value. Well, maybe, of course, and only if they are trying to, maybe innovate for youths and all that, of course, they would have to involve youths. And like I said, the senior colleagues will always want to thrive on the fact that, we have the experience. We have the experience. We have lived this particular situation that we're trying to solve for. So it's great. It's a bit dicey, right? They will still want to, talk about, we are more experienced. We have the experience. Everything will still be like, oh yes, we've been here, so we understand. So if that's why, in terms of digital health, there is no brainer. They will definitely have to involve the youth, because we are the digital nets, like you said. And if, as a young person, right, that if you're trying to make your case heard, my own advice would just be that person of value. Yeah, you should know how you have a particular value that you can add to a certain situation, and you will be overlooked. So far you have that value. So far you have that value to fill that gap. Trust me, the older generations, the senior colleagues, have no choice than to reach out to you. It's no brainer at all. They will, because of course, except they don't want whatever they are trying to bring to work, they would have to involve the youths.
Definitely.
Let me even just go. Let me go outside digital health in terms of like AMR. There is no how you talk about AMR and you will not want to involve youths. But I have seen situations whereby senior colleagues might be talking about AMR. AMR is antimicrobial resistant. Just for anyone that's anyone that's listening. They might want to, most of the time they don't even want to involve the youth, because they'll be like, we understand for a fact where this is. We understand for a fact the situations of things. Especially in terms of, let's say, they might want to say, okay, we understand this better, but if they don't involve the youth population, which I'm very sure larger chunk of the population size they tend to look into when they are trying to intervene for create interventions for AMR. It's definitely not going to work, but at least with what I've seen with conversations I've had with friends that are in that space, yes, let's say they are already trying to bring youth into the space. So I mean, it's a work in progress. It's not like we have everything all covered. It's a work in progress. But at least I can breathe my chest and say they are trying to get it here for the child. There is no how they would not involve youth there. I mean, it's no brainer for that.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. It's also looking at it in terms of, because when you use the word value, I was thinking of it in the sense of really, I guess the hardest job is getting people to value the need for it in the first place, as opposed to just valuing a particular skill set or a particular knowledge or anything, but really just valuing youth participation in itself in the first place, and all of those things. So it's of course it's a balance of not just for the optics, not just to be politically correct, not just to be whatever, but also don't do it because you just want to tokenize us and just get us and like, we have a youth representative, we have a female representative, we have a people with disability representative, we have this whatever, just to say that we covered all the segments. Who could be angry at us for not involving them and all of those things. So and it's also very interesting to also think about, we are the youth, but then Well, for some of us already, and then in the coming years, we are going to be the senior colleagues that are being referred to.
So we have to be good examples.
Exactly, and not the people who would slam the door once we get into the space. And again, it's not even in context of getting people into the space and in specific opportunities particularly, or titles or roles particularly, but like being the kind of people who value the perspectives of young people within the community, like the grassroots, everyone who is going to be either contributing to creating or implementing whatever it is we are doing, but all will be affected by it directly or indirectly. So that's really been enough, and I actually picked a lot of learnings from you sharing those perspectives. And of course, generally, to anyone listening, of course, being a person of value definitely helps, to the point where they can't ignore, they can't not call you in quotes. And also both sides also have to play their roles in that regard. So but if today you had the opportunity, or like I mic you up and I say go into the streets, storm a policymaker meeting or a boardroom of CEO, investors, VCs, or whatever it is, and they're like, I have something to say about working with young people, what would be your key message?
I think for me it would be more of the academic part.
Okay.
I would want the policymakers to include digital health as part of the curriculum for every healthcare professional. It's there already, and we cannot. It doesn't have to be, because most of the time it's always which community that we drive this change. But if we can start with including digital health as part of our curriculum, little to as how to even use EMR. Right, it will go a long way, because interestingly for some of us it's still when we want to do internship or when we are doing our housemanship, that's where we now get to interface with all these digital health tools, right? Or we get to hear talks on telemedicine. Okay, for instance, now I can say for pharmacy, right, we are taught the use of computer in pharmacy, but really it's just abstract, to be honest. It's not what are the core things. Nobody really talks about telemedicine. Nobody really talks about e-pharmacy. Even if they talk about it, it's just always on the surface level, or nobody talks about precision medicine to that extent. So if we really want to drive that change, maybe we should start with the academics part. So we have to, exactly. So if we want to drive that core change, if I want to drive that core change, right, if I had to go to a room of policymakers, I would go there and say, oh yes, so please, you have to include digital health to your curriculum. It doesn't have to, like, from the bachelor's level, it doesn't have to be till like maybe I reach master's level. I mean, it doesn't have to be till I reach master's level or PhD level, then I would now start having a major conversation on digital health. But if we start it from the grassroots, from at least the bachelor's degree, I mean, it will go a long way.
Yeah, that's very key. Yeah. And I think also it's also looking at it in terms of how it's increasingly gaining attention, thankfully, and knowing that it wasn't a default before, but now it's these are key considerations that educational sectors have to put into mind, because I know in many places there's also this thing about you can't just change a curriculum. There has to be a lot of sitting and bills being passed and this and that before they now include it and change, and then you go to the departmental level, the university level, all of those things. And but hopefully sooner or later it gets fully integrated, because that's where the world really is right now. And even if it's not digital health again as a concept in itself, but increasingly the use of or the permeation of the digital space into our health and well-being is really very key. And I think even down from the maybe primary school level, secondary school level, when we talk about things around digital literacy, because also people being able to use these tools safely, right, wherever they are, wherever they find themselves, is also very, 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 very really key. In that regard, again, I mentioned something earlier about digital determinants of health and how the digital space really impacts the health and well-being of people, and all that. So, what are you really, really optimistic about in the next coming years, 5 to 10 years? So personally, as regards your own career path, aspirations, and also in the wider digital health space. I guess that's a double barrel question.
Well, for me, one thing I'm very much optimistic about is seeing more applications of AI, right, to healthcare. How we incorporate AI to, especially for us here in Nigeria, or for us here in Africa in general. How well can we use AI to optimize healthcare? How can we see AI as an assistant, as not a job replacer? Because that's the intuition most of us have, right? That okay, let's say AI or anything digital wants to take our job and wants to, just wants to leave us jobless. And no, that's not the notion. It has to be we see AI as an assistant to streamline process. And also I'm still speaking in general, not even for me as a career. I also would want to see AI innovations to the rural areas, because most of the time it's always about how AI can help us within the urban setting. And why I'm saying rural is because of, in terms of, let's say, internet connection, which is always an issue for people in the rural setting. And if we can have like good internet connection in those areas, I feel, especially for digital health, especially for telemetry, because those are the people who really need those innovations, not majorly us in the urban settings. Because trust me, I mean, in urban settings, you tend to find more hospitals. You tend to find more hospitals, more pharmacies around there. But in the rural settings, these are the people who really need this innovation, because they don't really have a lot of healthcare centers, a lot of clinics, right? If we can make internet connection very much effective in those areas, then I mean, just to see what we are stressing on, how digital health can help, reach out to the underserved population. And there is no way we can talk about digital health if we're not talking about internet connectivity, and if it's not reaching to those areas. So I would love to see maybe if we can even have like Starlink in those areas, right, where people can just be connected to. And for me as a career, I think for me, where I want to, as a career, maybe having something at PhD level, where I'm of course innovating, researching on.
Okay.
AI applications in healthcare, and how you can use AI to close certain gaps in healthcare. I'm not really, most of the times, right, people might want to say, okay, as a pharmacist, for precision medicine, for drug discovery. I feel we're already doing well in those parts, especially like at a global stage. AI is already helping in terms of drug discovery. But I mean, I'm more of the, okay, how can I bring what of these ignored problems? How can we use AI to cover those gaps? Like something that I recently published a paper on was how can we use TTS in terms of text-to-speech models, right? How can we use them using RAG, which is retrieval augmented generation, plus TTS model, to be able to communicate effectively to patients. And this stems from me being able to identify for a fact that when you don't communicate well to patients, they don't understand the need to take their medication. And of course, it's even like from studies, effective communication helps with medication adherence. Patients, when they know the need of taking a particular medication for a particular illness, they would tend to, they will tend to see the need to always adhere to time, to always adhere to take their medications and not skip at all. And that if they understand in their own said language. And of course, we find ourselves in communities where, let's say, I don't speak the native language of those patients. Definitely, there's going to be issues because they would not understand the need of, I'm just saying, okay, maybe I'm even speaking in pidgin, take this drug morning, afternoon, and night, and all. Like, even if I try to go in details, they would not, in my own said language, they will not understand because I'm not speaking their own language. So, yeah, now using AI to bridge that gap that I've identified, that is, to me, that is something I would want to do. I want to do in terms of long term, identifying these said gaps in healthcare and trying to see how we can incorporate AI to solving them. Right. So yeah.
That's really beautiful because I mean, as you've also spoken to a career path that some people are not like really. Usually when you think digital health, you're either an innovator, an implementer, a policy maker, or something like that. But bringing the research aspect are also into it. Really, when it comes to like evidence-based, and all of that. And I mean, there's this subtle way we tend to look at the academia and the research world separate from the industry world and all of those things. But I dare argue, which I also often argue a lot, like I've worked in the digital health space, like in the business, the core technology part of things. I've worked in the clinical space and also in the research space. Like all of these different aspects help me in each of those spaces, right? And all that. And if it's something that we can, the same way we talk about data being in silos and all of those things, I think you can apply here to where industries tend to be in silos sometimes, and that does us a great disservice rather, where we are not able to optimally leverage the strengths of each of these different industries, right? And bringing them together just to achieve a common goal of making the digital health space better, as well as healthcare generally better for everyone and all. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. So one of these days we get to call you Dr. Bash.
Well,
PhD.
Of course.
Then we go on with the other titles, AI, ML, engineer, blah blah blah, and all of those things.
Dr. Bash actually sounds very nice.
Oh yeah, well, I think I'll send you something to sign just so I have it, and I say I knew him before he became. Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much so far. I've actually been having a great time. But before you go, I was thinking we could do a set of rapid fire questions, and then you don't have to overthink it. Right.
I'll try my best.
You are on the hot seat and you're on the spot right now.
Oh my god.
Don't worry, it's a mix of fun or not so fun, maybe. So, what is the first app you check when you wake up, since you're talking digital stuff?
My email. No brainer.
Okay. I once remember the joke where someone was like, the email is your new social media. Like, you're waking up, you're checking it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. What is your hidden talent outside of digital health?
Hidden talent. Okay, this one is very hard. Because, I mean, I might say I'm the talent.
You're overthinking. You're overthinking.
Okay, let's say singing. Yeah.
Oh, really?
But you're not going to tell me to sing. Thank you very much. That's why you want to mention it.
Maybe you get to sing your outro, your goodbyes from this episode.
No.
Okay.
I'm very shy. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, so if you were going to found a company, would you rather be, or if you were going to work in a startup, would you rather be the face of a digital health company or more behind the scenes?
I think it will be in the middle. Yeah, in the middle. I'm not the kind of person that likes to put his face out there every time. I'm more on the ground. But people who are very familiar with what I do know that I like to be in the background. I like to, be that guy that is making things work. Then maybe show my face once in a while.
Okay, all right, I understand that. So, but then, what is the biggest buzzword right now in digital health that makes you just roll your eyes like, duh, please?
Funny how it's telemedicine, but telemedicine not applied to the urban area. Exactly. It just because in my head I'm like, please, guys in the urban area don't really need telemedicine. Like, we're not going to be like providing enough value to them, because I mean they have all the resources there. It's the people in the rural settings that actually need telemedicine the most.
Okay. I understand. So, what else? What dream collaboration are you looking at right now, or like are you like hoping for, maybe with a mentor or with someone in the space that you're really looking up to? Like, if you got a chance to work with them today, it would be a dream come true.
Oh, interesting. If I had to, funny how people that, let's say organizations that have had to work with, especially for like in the context of Africa, or let's say even Nigeria. If I had that, I've always wanted to work with them. I think I've been able to work with them, or I've done some things with them. But if I have to go global, it's not going to be a person, it's going to be an organization.
Okay.
Maybe it's going to be Google DeepMind, right? Because of the innovations they are really driving in terms of biotechnology. Or AWS Health. I know it has to be one of the big tech guys and like the roles they play in healthcare, because I mean big tech, because you might be a startup and you are innovating, big tech can just come from nowhere and just take your startup with just one innovation
and like absorb you.
Exactly. So maybe I'd like to be there, learn from them. That's like a dream collaboration for me. Basically, for sure. In terms of big pharma, I mean, I'm fortunate to be working for big pharma right now. So that's why I kind of said most of the things I wish that I would have want to do, I'm actually doing them now. I'm doing them now. But so let me see how I can now migrate to. I have experience, or I'm still having experience from big pharma. Let me see how I can migrate to big tech. Yeah.
Okay, and then finally, describe the Africa's digital health food future with an African food. If you would describe, and you have to explain why you think that food represents.
This one I'll have to think. Food. Can I say Indomie?
Okay, interesting.
Or noodles, noodles. Why? Because I mean, we are quick to innovate, but we are never satisfied, right? Because it's an instant food, just to fuel your tummy, but at the end of the day, you still want to ask for more food. So we are very quick to innovate, but I think for which is something I feel we would have to start looking in the future, is sustainability. When we innovate, how do we sustain that innovation to last for a long time?
So now you think it's like Indomie?
My opinion, because
that's why I said you think, and then you're hoping that we get to a point where it's like maybe pounded yam or eba.
Exactly,
or
that would last the hell. Right now, that would last. But we are getting there.
We are getting there, and I mean, we people like you in the space, being passionate, also working to, bring in more people, involve the youth more, build their career, expand the space, and all. I feel like our future is in great hands, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you so much. This has actually been a really nice and fun conversation. I've learned a lot. Thank you for sharing your journey, your perspectives, and your thoughts about us as Indomie generation.
Thank you very much for having me. I mean, even before this, we're already catching up, because it has been a long while. So
right.
Yeah. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us on the African Digital Health Voices podcast. We hope that when we call you on you again, maybe on more specific and technical stuff around the AI, ML, plus the pharmacy precision stuff, you would be willing to oblige us.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Thank you to everyone who has been listening to us so far. I have been your host, Esther Opone, and we look forward to you enjoying this episode and bringing you another fun and insightful one next time. Thank you and bye.